Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Austin Seibert. We are Team One consultants, and along with my team members Kelly, Jesse, Megan, Kevin, and Jeremiah, we will be discussing how to build high performance teams. What is teaming? In this section, I will be discussing the definition of teaming and how to build a team to be successful. I will also be discussing the difference between teams and groups. According to Edmondson 2014, teaming is a verb. The dynamic activity, not a bounded, static entity. It is determined by the mindset and practices of teamwork, not by the design and structures of effective teams. Although teaming may seem simple and just the action of coworkers coming together to finish a project, there's actually multiple challenges that can be faced by a team that can hinder their performance, ability to finish the project, and unfortunately, the organization that they work for as well. To become a team, there must be an identified group of people coming together, tasked with the same objective and understanding of the challenges they are faced with. The concept of teaming is the ability of people from all different backgrounds to utilize their strengths to progressively move a company towards success. Teams can be used in multiple areas such as workplace projects, leadership roles, and even challenges faced by organizations. A team is built by the specific characteristics that employees entail that can unite a group of people to effectively finish a project. Teams also need the ability to build on their creative confidence to allow for progression and success of the task in front of them. Kelly, 2012. In this section, I will be discussing the teaming process, what that might entail, and what the benefits of teaming are. The teaming process entails a list of objectives that must be met in order to ensure that the team is efficiently working towards a successful finish. Teams must collaborate to find the best way to tackle a project. In order to do so, the teaming process must also have a clear communication pathway. Without communication, the project will fall apart. Blanchard, 2012. While collaborating, the members of the team will also have to set aside their egos and be able to have their ideas denied by other team members without getting defensive. In doing so, the team will be able to constructively critique areas of the project that are weaker to ensure that the final project is the best it can be. Tam, 2015. Discipline is also vital for the progression of a project worked on by a team. This process of discipline can cover multiple areas of the project, such as every team member being proactive in making the meetings or finishing areas of the project by their deadline. Katzenbach and Smith, 2013. To assure that every team member will be working efficiently, there must be complete psychological safety established. This will allow each member to know that their voice matters on the project and that no one will be scrutinized for their ideas and cause multiple creative ideas to occur from the team. Edmondson, 2014. The benefits of teaming can be seen in the quality and efficiency of a project. Teaming can also promote stronger connections between coworkers and the ability to work together. Another benefit is the promotion of working outside of the members' comfort zones and finding new creative limits to reach.
Thanks, Austin. Hi, I'm Jeremiah Johnson, and in this section we'll be discussing teams versus groups. To start it all off, we must understand that teams and good performance are inseparable. You cannot have one without the other. So for managers to make better decisions about when or how to encourage and use teams, it is important to be more precise about what a team is and what it isn't. As we know, teamwork represents a set of values that encourage listening and responding constructively to views expressed by others, giving others the benefit of the doubt, and providing support and recognizing the interest and achievements of others. Groups, however, are actually quite the opposite. Groups do not become teams simply because that is what someone calls them. So what are the differences between teams and groups? To understand how teams deliver extra performance, we must distinguish between teams and other forms of working groups. A team's performance includes both individual results and what we call collective work products. A collective work product is what two or more members must work on together, such as interviews, surveys, or experiments. Characteristics such as shared leadership roles, individuality and mutual accountability, specific team purpose, and collective work products are only a few of the influential paradigms that can be used to identify teams. Encouraging open-minded discussions, problem solving, measuring performance, and reflective insights are also quality team characteristics that help teams develop quality and collective work product that reflects the joint real contributions of the team members. A working group's performance is clearly a function of what its members do as individuals. This means that the group needs a strong, clearly focused leader that fosters individual accountability and a purpose that shares the same characteristics and goals of the company's broader organizational mission. At high level, a group focuses on maximizing opportunities through individual work products and running efficient meetings that provide quality feedback and insights for measuring effectiveness and discussing, deciding, and delegating the next steps. Overall, there are various differences between both teams and groups. The most successful teams shape their purpose in response to a demand or opportunity put in their path, usually by the upper management. This helps teams get started by broadly framing the company's performance expectations. Additionally, the best working groups come together to share information, perspectives, and insights, to make decisions to help each person do his or her job better, and to reinforce individual performance standards. This concludes the teams versus groups section of the presentation. Now I'm going to pass it off to Kevin Eastland so that he can discuss the winning formula related to making things happen.
Making things happen. Now we provide the formula necessary to operate as a teaming and learning organization. This should provide board members with the information necessary for their teams to function effectively and optimize team performance within the organization. We will also illustrate the role leaders play in teaming as well as some of their key responsibilities. Here, we have provided some of the key leadership responsibilities regarding teaming. The first is framing the situation. Framing is a required action of leaders to enroll members into a behavioral change. To be successful in implementing them, leaders must frame their roles in ways that invite others to participate. Edmondson 2012. The second key is making it safe to team. Psychologically safe environments give team members the confidence to speak up and provide necessary feedback. This stems from the ability of team members to trust and respect one another. Leaders are crucial for creating these environments. This encourages team members to learn from their failures. Edmondson 2012. This leads us to our next key responsibility of learning from failures. There are three activities leaders can utilize to learn from failure: detection, analysis, and experimentation. Detection is the ability to identify points of failure. When the problem has been detected, analysis can be completed to identify what happened and develop techniques for improvement. Edmondson 2012. Using the third activity of experimentation involves strategically producing failures for the sole purpose of identifying and learning from challenges in new failure modes. Finally, leaders must be responsible for overcoming boundaries. Teaming boundaries can include physical distance, status, which can be most challenging, that includes disparity diversity, and knowledge boundaries that describe the difference in experience in education. Edmondson 2012. To work across these boundaries, leaders must facilitate communication by framing a shared goal that motivates team members to overcome communication barriers. Second, leaders must show a willingness to ask questions and share information with members. And finally, leaders must provide a clear process or guidelines that help structure collaboration. Edmondson 2012. To remain competitive, organizations must continue to learn in order to find ways to improve and increase organizational effectiveness. Edmondson 2012. To assist you, we provided the winning formula that includes execution as learning. So this serves as a means of operating that allows the organization to learn as they go. It allows teams, departments, or the entire company to adjust, innovate, improvise while simultaneously delivering products and services. And then there's efficiency versus learning. So traditional management approaches are based on execution as efficiency, which entails the leader providing all of the answers while leaving little room for feedback and communication between the staff. Companies that utilize execution as learning, however, allow leaders to provide a sense of direction without exactly specifying how to get it done. Edmondson 2012. In this process, feedback is highly encouraged that in turn leads to problem solving and long-term value. Learning is achieved in cycles, and executionist learning illustrates this in four essential steps: diagnose, design, act, and reflection. Diagnosing entails assessing the situation, challenge, or problem facing the organization. Design involves developing specific plans of narrowing their options to a possible action. Acting is the shift from discussion to doing. This is key to track what's happening and record the results. Reflection is the analytical step. In this form of action actor reviews or rigorous studies, the purpose is to provide a clear understanding of what worked and what didn't. Finally, continuous learning and development is key. Continuous learning and development means learning isn't a one-time thing. The goal of this is to keep learning at all times and create an enterprise that's always learning and improving in order to excel in the marketplace.
Hello, my name is Megan Cheek, and I will be discussing barriers to effective face-to-face teaming and the best practices to create a high-performing team. Edmondson describes a face-to-face team as an in-person established, fixed group of people cooperating in pursuit of a common goal. In 2012, Edmondson wrote that barriers for face-to-face teams are often social and cognitive. One of the biggest barriers to effective teaming is a lack of or unclear communication. This is why many teams fail to effectively communicate, whether it be by providing feedback, voicing honest opinions, or discussing errors in difficult topics. Failing to communicate is often contributed to a psychologically unsafe work environment, or the fear of offending others due to hierarchical structures. Failing to speak up can result in miscommunication, which may inhibit a team's ability to move forward in a common direction. Failing to voice ideas and opinions can result in groupthink. Groupthink discourages creativity and makes team members less involved by limiting individual responsibilities. To create a high-performing team, teams should implement the following practices on a regular basis. Encourage difficult conversations. High-performing teams must understand that members may have personal differences, including values and beliefs. These differences may cause conflict within the group. However, team members must be willing to explore different ideas with the intent to learn rather than to win an argument. Collectively, teams can almost always create a more effective solution by working together than on an individual basis. Secondly, promote psychological safety. Psychologically safe environments encourage team members to freely express themselves and ask questions without fear. Team members should share their thoughts, opinions, and concerns with one another and make it understood that it's essential to strengthen the team. Lastly, learn from your failures. High-performing teams do not fear failure. Instead, they utilize failing as a learning experience and the opportunity to reflect and improve. Learning from failure can be a difficult task, but effective teams understand that it's vital for teaming and organizational growth.
Great job, Megan. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Kelly Freeman, and I'm going to talk a little bit about virtual teams. Global companies with divisions and satellite offices around the world rely heavily on local expertise to know which products they should offer in which regions, how to market those products, and the local product guidelines and restrictions for each area. Fortunately, with the help of technology, regional offices can still work collaboratively, though, on virtual teams. In 2012, Edmondson described a virtual team as a group of individuals who, through the use of technology, work across physical and organizational boundaries. Just like face-to-face teams, though, virtual teams must confront unique barriers such as time, distance, and cultural differences, gaining the trust of other team members, sharing tacit knowledge, and organizational structures that unknowingly hinder team success. Finding a time when all team members are available to meet is hard enough when everyone works in the same building, so imagine how difficult it is to schedule a meeting when the members live on different continents. A lunch meeting for one team member is bound to be a midnight meeting for another. In addition to this time and distance, the space between them, when there's a multicultural element to the composition, it can be an even bigger barrier to success for virtual teams. In their 2013 article, Managing Multicultural Teams, Brett et al. State that there are 4 types of barriers to the success of multicultural teams: direct versus indirect communication, trouble with accents and fluency, differing attitudes towards hierarchy and authority, and conflicting norms for decision making. Trust can be another major barrier to the success for virtual teams because members often have an incomplete knowledge of one another. It can be hard to trust someone you've never met will accomplish a given task when you know nothing about their strengths and weaknesses. And it's difficult to share resources and strategies with another division when you can't trust that they will take credit for the solution themselves. Another challenge in building trust is not knowing what information is worth sharing and what information is common knowledge. This taken for granted or tacit information is easily missed in virtual teams. And it's difficult for virtual team members to build trust when the organization promotes individual accomplishments above team performance. When a company emphasizes teamwork but the system promotes individuals, it can be difficult to trust that your teammates will put the interest of their team above their own. And one last thing, the composition of a team can present a problem when team members sense a hierarchy rather than member equality. Absolute best practice for virtual teams is to meet face-to-face as often as possible. In their 2013 article, Coutu states that even well-structured virtual teams should have a launch meeting with everyone present, a face-to-face midpoint check-in, and a live debriefing. Coming together physically for a face-to-face meeting helps build trust and cultural awareness that is needed during collaboration. For virtual teams, though, most interactions require the use of technology, and as we all know, technology tends to fail us when we need it the most. And even when it works perfectly, for virtual teams in different time zones with members that speak different languages, finding time to collaborate can be hard. High-performing virtual teams equip their members with compatible technology, skills, resources, and they establish guidelines for communication. To facilitate knowledge sharing, virtual teams should have a knowledge repository where team members can post problems and search solutions, and these forums should include a place for file sharing so members can work collaboratively on documents, share calendars, and offer translation services as needed. Another best practice of high-performing virtual teams is to ensure that the organization supports teamwork and not individualism. An authoritative structure that promotes the work of individuals and dismisses the ideas of others significantly hinders team effectiveness. Rather than leadership authority that can stifle the ideas of others, high-performing virtual teams practice leadership inclusiveness, where higher status team members actively invite and express the appreciation for the views and ideas of others. When leaders empower team members to make critical decisions and come up with creative solutions, it allows the team to identify problems and work towards solutions together. Now I'm going to turn it over to Jesse so he can tell you about some of the challenges that Team One consultants faced along our journey and recommendations that can help your team succeed. Thank you.
Hello, I am Jesse Kaki, the final member of First Up Consultants. I will transition us into recommendations, virtual challenges, and finally the solutions of virtual teaming. Building an organizational team culture will be no easy task. When addressing virtual teams as compared to face-to-face, you will see some unique factors. In face-to-face teams, open communication is very important. You have to overcome barriers by setting goals and objectives, and you have to create an environment of psychological safety. During virtual teams, you have to trust each other and be vulnerable. You have to prevent time and distance barriers, issues, and stop them very early. You have to create a structure to reduce the confusion. During team challenges, there will be two pivotal steps: project launch and development. It is important during project launch to work out the bugs. Get good contact information, check software and member compatibility, and review schedules. During the development phase, identify roles and responsibilities, the formats of the project, and foster good team dynamics. And finally, set the goals for your deadlines. When creating virtual team solutions, use as many modes of communication as possible. For instance, video Skype can be used to foster meetings. Nonverbal means can be cellular text and email. Online file sharing and discussion threads can help minimize confusion and get rid of outdated documents. Don't forget to be creative and experiment. It will bring innovation to the team. Our team would like to give a special thanks to Miss Amy Edmondson and her book on teaming, as well as the book HBR's 10 Must Reads by John Kedzerbach and Douglas Smith, and also the guidance from our professor, Dr. Daniels.